Hey awesome people, it's Alex here. Welcome to today's beginner back flexibility routine in which we are going to warm up. We are going to do some active stretching, passive stretching, and some PNF stretching. We are also going to attempt the bridge for those that are interested in that, and I will break down the technique and how to do that. I also have to give you a disclaimer that this is not a video that's going to get you to your bridge in 5 minutes, as such a thing does not exist. But this video is going to get you there as fast as possible and as safely as possible. It is very easy to get injured in our backs when we stretch, especially if we start as an adult. So please don't push into any stretches that don't feel good for you. Let's do it. So we're going to start with a band or any kind of thing that you can just hold shoulder width apart. And we're going to bend our legs, proud chest, bending down to our palate to the ground. And from here, we're going to just lift our arms up. We're going to hold here for 30 seconds. If this gets very tough, feel free to bring your hands in. So this warms up your shoulders and your back. Hands up as high as we can. Three, 2, and 1. We're gonna bring the band down, staying here, arms out to the side. We're gonna do circles as high up as we can, trying to reach all the way up to the ceiling. 30 seconds again. Again, if this gets tough, just bringing the arms in for a rest. Last 10 seconds. Up as high as we can, reaching all the way to the sky. 3, 2, and 1. Nice, we're gonna do a little bit of push-ups. Don't be scared. This is just so we can warm up our chest and our shoulders a little bit more. So on our knees, hands on the sides of the mat. We're gonna go 30 seconds. You take your breaks as you need them. The deeper we can go into the push-up, the better it is. So we wanna try to touch all the way down to the ground. If you can't, we just do tiny ones here, that's perfectly fine. And last one. Last exercise, we're gonna warm up our core a little bit. So plank position here, nice and wide with the feet. We're gonna go side to side with our hips. So touching down one side, touching down the other side. If this gets tough, bringing it down to your knees, just making sure we don't arch your back, core squeezed. 10 seconds, we got it. So, and 1. Perfect. So we're gonna jump into our stretches, and some of our stretches are still going to be quite active to build up strength and make sure that we don't only have flexibility in our back and shoulders, but we also have strength to support the new range of motion. So the first one here, we're gonna come up into a downward dog, and we're just gonna do a little bit of whatever feels comfortable for our bodies for a minute. So leaning side to side if that feels good, a little bit of a stretch for our shoulders, coming through to a little cobra. And if you, of course, don't feel warm after the warm-up we just did, I'm in a very hot room here. Make sure that you repeat it one more time. The last thing you want to be is be cold when we do all this. Perfect. Last little bit. Awesome. We're gonna move on to our first stretch for our shoulders. You need a chair for this, but since I don't have a chair, I just built a tower of blocks. So you're gonna place your chair or your blocks in front of you, just like this. If you have sore knees, you wanna be folding your mat so you're not on hard ground. And from here, we're gonna do 2 times 30 seconds, placing hands on our blocks. From here, we're gonna be thinking about pushing away, lifting inside of the elbow up to the ceiling, and we're gonna come down into a stretch. 30 seconds here. Getting deeper if you can. Trying not to rest our head on the ground because that takes away from the stretch. Beautiful, coming up. We're gonna rest our arms a little bit. We're gonna repeat this one more time, but this time we're gonna have bent arms. So we're gonna place our elbows on the edges, hands together pointing towards the ceiling. Same thing here, pushing away. And we're going to go another 30 seconds. So just don't fold your hands in over your head. Make sure that your hands are straight up to the ceiling. Last 10 seconds. And slowly coming out. Beautiful. We're gonna do more shoulders. So folding out our mat. From here, we're gonna place our hands behind our backs, fingers pointing backwards, and we're gonna lift our chest nice and proud, and we're gonna slide our glutes away from our hands. We're gonna stay here for 30 seconds again. You're gonna feel it on the front of your shoulders. If this is hurting your elbows, you're just gonna bend your arms a little bit. And as you feel more and more comfortable, just sliding out. Coming slowly out. Nice, we're going to repeat exactly the same thing one more time. So just shaking off our arms. And we're going to go again, exactly the same thing. And coming slowly out. Awesome, so the 2 stretches we just did, they were 2 passive stretches. We're going to do a little bit of an active one. So just working into our range and strengthening our back. So for this one, you're gonna need either a couch or something you can put your feet under, or you can put your feet on the wall, and I'm gonna show how to do that. And from here, we're gonna place our feet on the wall and thinking about pushing in to the wall. What this does, it just makes it a little bit easier for us to lift up our upper bodies. And from here, we're gonna either do straight arms, which is a little bit harder, or we're gonna go bent arms and we're gonna think about lifting our head up to the ceiling as much as we can. This is gonna feel very tiring for our back, but this is really, really great strengthening. That's gonna prevent a lot of injuries when we stretch. And we're just gonna go 10, 2 times. Nice. Tiny little rest. We're gonna repeat another 10 and then we're gonna move on to some more stretches. If you feel like as you do this, your body moves away from the wall a little bit, it does that for me as well. So then I just need to wiggle back. So I feel like the friction from the wall helps me lift up my arms. Okay, let's do another 10. high as you can in each repetition. Perfect. For the next one here, we're gonna move on to stretching our spine. So we're gonna do a few cobras. We're gonna go 30 seconds, 3 times. And we're just gonna start by bringing our hands to our shoulders. And from here, you wanna be thinking about drawing a half a circle, starting with your head. So your head lifts up as high as you can, then your upper back, and then your lower back. Looking back, looking up to the ceiling. I just can't speak when I do that. And we're gonna stay there for 30 seconds. If you feel like it is very hard to breathe there for you, just bring your head back to neutral. And coming slowly out. So we're gonna repeat this 2 more times, and this doesn't really feel that much like a stretch. It just feels like pressure in the spine, but this is how it also feels to be stretching your spine. So that's really, really normal. If you feel any like electricity or radiating pain, anything that like goes up or down your spine, then you just wanna give it a rest and not even finish this workout today, and probably go see a physio, because that can be an indication of nerve damage. Okay, let's go again. Slowly coming down. Okay, we have one last one to go. Same thing. Really thinking about squeezing our glutes as we do this, so we don't want to be relaxing our glutes like I think they maybe do in yoga. We squeeze our glutes to protect the very lower back from the arch that this brings on. And slowly coming out. Awesome. We are now going to combine our shoulder flexibility and our back flexibility. So you are going to need your chair again. I'm gonna grab my stack of blocks, and we are going to do an exercise that's very similar to what we have already done. We're just gonna try to arch a little bit more through our spine. If you're on slippery floor, you wanna make sure that your chair is all the way against the wall, so you don't lean against it and then it slides, and yeah, and don't want to do that. We're gonna do a bit of PNF, which means we're gonna be doing a little bit of active stuff, and then we're just gonna be relaxing into a stretch. So hands on our chair, a little bit of space between our knees, and from here I'm gonna come down, and the first 10 seconds we're gonna be thinking about pushing our hands down into our chair. So we push down, we squeeze our core, and I'm essentially doing this, just pushing my arms down as hard as I can. We're gonna do that for 10 seconds. And then after 10 seconds, we're just gonna fully relax, thinking about arching through our shoulders, through our back, looking up with the head. And we're gonna repeat this 3 times. And we're going to start with 10 seconds of pushing hands down into our chair, squeezing our core, engaging our shoulders, engaging our core. 3, 2, and 1. Arching as much as we can, head is looking up, stretching. You want to be thinking about leaning into your chair. It's just going to get you a little bit deeper into the stretch. And 3, 2, and 1, coming up. Squeezing again, pushing hands down into your chair. I know this is really tiring, but this is very, very good for stretching. 3, 2, and 1. And arching as much as we can. If your arms are getting very tired, feel free to get a little bit closer to your chair like this. It's just gonna make it a little bit less tiring to keep your arms straight. 10 more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Coming up again, resetting, pushing arms down. This is the last time we do this. 3, 2, and 1. And relaxing. Just bringing our chest down, arching through our back, lifting our heads up. Three, 2, and 1. Shaking off our arms, doing whatever feels comfortable here. And we are going to stretch our hip flexors a little bit. So our hip flexors are these guys here, and we use them a lot when we do a bridge. So nice and easy, just a little lunge. If it's painful for your knees, then making sure you have a towel under that back knee. We want to be thinking about lifting our chest up and back so we get a nice stretch along the whole front here. Just 30 seconds on each side. Three, 2, and switching legs. Same thing, thinking about lifting your chest up and back, sitting down as much as we can. Three, 2, and 1. Beautiful. From here, we are going to do a tiny little neck stretch. So our neck is a really big part of our back flexibility. If we have a very stiff neck, our lines are never going to be exactly as beautiful. But be very careful with this stretch. There's a lot of nerve pathways and a lot of very gentle things in our necks that we really don't want to damage. So just doing it really, really gently, especially if you haven't done it before. We're going to use a block. If you don't have a block, you're just going to use your hands like this. You're going to place your hands under your chin. You're going to bite together so your mouth is closed. And we're just going to do 30 seconds here. So on all fours, I'm placing the block under my chin. And then from here, I'm going to sit back. So you're going to feel this stretch on the front part of the neck, and you may also feel pressure in the back. This is how it feels to stretch your spine, but just please be very careful here. And coming slowly out. Beautiful. So we are now going to spend a little bit of time in our bridges. So if you've already done a bridge before, then feel free to just jump in there so you get a little bit of time in that position. And if you haven't, I'm going to break down how to get in there. There are 3 stages to it. So the first and easiest bridge is a half bridge. So I'm going to lift my hips up, and make sure you're not wearing a hair clip like I did. This was not a great idea. So you should be able to lie flat on the mat with your head. And from here, you're going to lift your hips up, hands under your hips, and you're going to be pushing your hips towards your head, lifting up as high as you can. If this feels easy breezy, we're going to go to the second stage. So we're going to place our hands by our ears, fingers towards our shoulders. If you have very stiff wrists and you have a history of getting injured there, make sure you warm them up a little bit, because this is a bit intense on the wrists. And from here, we're going to think about lifting the hips up. We're going to lift up to our head, but we want to make sure that we keep the weight in our arms. So I don't want to be resting my body on my head here. I keep it in my arms. If that feels easy breezy, then the next thing is just to do your bridge. So to your head, and then from your head all the way up. So this is our stretching session for today. If you want to spend some more time in your bridges, do that. But if you feel ready to wrap it up, we're going to do a tiny little bit of a cool down. It just helps us re-engage our core, reverse the arch from our backs, so we have beautiful walking posture for the rest of the day. So just lying down, gonna take out this hair clip. From here, we're gonna just be reversing this arch. So thinking about bringing our knees to our chest, lifting our bum up off the ground. Just tiny little movements. So to do this, I engage my core, and we're just gonna do 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. We're gonna go one more exercise, lifting your feet up to the ceiling. If you can't lift them up super high, that's fine, just keep them bent here. We're gonna reach our hands to our heels as much as we can. We're gonna go 10 times. Three, 2, and 1. So this was us for today. If you found this routine useful, please give it a like. And if you have any questions about anything, please leave me a comment. Otherwise, I wish you a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.